Hey everyone, it's Kevin Carr for Certified Functional Strength Coach, and today we're going to talk about back squatting. Some of you might know we don't really like to program back squats in our program, mainly because we think that they don't fit very well for the majority of the population. And while for traditional strength enthusiasts, powerlifters, bodybuilders, that might sound like heresy, I'm going to tell you why there's some better options that we can program for most of your clients to try to build lower body strength that have a higher reward and less risk in the programming process. For those of you who aren't familiar with us at Certified Functional Strength Coach, we're the official training certification of Mike Boyle Strength Conditioning right here in Boston, Massachusetts, where Mike Boyle has been training elite athletes from around the world for over 30 years. What we teach you to do at CFSC is how to be an adaptable coach so you can adapt your programming to anybody who comes into your facility. And to stick around for after the video, we're going to tell you a little bit more about our training certification program. The three major reasons we don't choose to back squat as opposed to using other lower body exercises in our program is number one, the orthopedic stress from the compression of the barbell on the back. Number two, the mobility limitations that most clients have that limit them from doing the exercise correctly. And then number three, it's not even the most efficient way to train the lower body. One of the major reasons we don't like to back squat is the major orthopedic cost that comes from doing heavily loaded bilateral barbell loaded exercises like the back squat. When carrying a heavy barbell on your back, it causes high amounts of compressive force through the spine. And for an untrained individual, or particularly someone who has a history of lumbar and back pain, that can be a big problem due to the compressive forces on the discs and on the nerves in the back. So often what we're going to choose to do instead is a unilateral loaded exercise or a dumbbell loaded lower body exercise that is going to unload the spine and allow us to focus on training the legs without the potential pain and orthopedic problems that could come from loading a bar on the back. The second reason is that most of your clients are going to have trouble getting into the position of back squat correctly. Limitations in ankle mobility, hip mobility, and thoracic mobility can make it really hard for your client to keep an upright torso and to keep their hands on the bar. Typically when they're squatting, when they fail, they're going to start to fall forward, one, due to limitations in strength, and two, due to limitations in mobility. So if we can find a more user-friendly way to train the lower body, like things like goblet squats, front squats, or split squats, it's going to make it much easier for the client to get into the position and execute the exercise correctly. The third reason is that it's actually more efficient to train the lower legs one leg at a time. We know because of the bilateral deficit that we can get greater than 50% effort out of one leg at a time. Meaning if I had a 200-pound back squat, I could likely single leg squat greater than 100 pounds on each leg. So for that reason, we tend to favor unilateral lower body approaches where we can load each individual leg greater than we could both legs at the same time. Similarly, it's also going to take greater load off of our back, going back to our number one point, the orthopedic stress on the spine. So we're typically going to favor things like split squats, rear foot elevated split squats, single leg squats, and skater squats rather than a traditional bilateral barbell back squat. Most people think you need to squat big weights with a barbell on your back to get strong legs. But I'm here to tell you, you can get really strong and probably do it a lot safer by training one leg at a time. We're typically going to choose these four exercises as our main lower body strength development exercises. So we're going to use things like split squats and rear foot elevated split squats, single leg squats, skater squats, and slide board lunges as our main lower body exercises. And we're going to do it with things like dumbbells and weight vests rather than throwing a big bar on top of our back. Typically, we're going to start all these progressions by having the athlete hold a dumbbell at their chest or hold a sandbag in a Zercher position. We're going to continue to increase weight with the dumbbell or the sandbag, and then eventually start to add things like weight vests and chains on the athlete to continue to add external load to their body without putting a bar on their back. A bonus thing about training on one leg at a time is you start to train different muscles you don't necessarily stimulate when you're training on two legs at a time. When you're on one leg, everything changes. You have to start to use other muscles besides just your things like your quads and your glutes and your hamstrings. You start to use some of your lateral hip muscles, things like your adductors, to help stabilize yourself side to side rather than just being in a bilateral stance. So this is going to be a better choice for athletic development and people doing things on one leg in their everyday life. And so that's part of the reason we really like to choose unilateral exercises as opposed to bilateral exercises to develop strength for athletic development. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and watching our video. If you want to learn more about Certified Functional Strength Coach, attend one of our live courses or take our online course, head over to certifiedfsc.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in. Check out some of our other videos here.